Hello. Welcome to tonight's video. Yes, we're filming at night, so you never know what's about to happen when we film at night. But tonight's video is one of the most important topics that I think is important to highlight, because most of us don't even realize this is something that manifests in our life. And it's something that can make or break how you progress on a health journey in a positive way. So tonight we're talking all about what you should not feel guilty for leaning into and enjoying. Something that diet culture has done a very poor job of is making us associate the word guilt and cheat meal with eating unhealthy foods, like indulging in chocolate cake and pizza and beer and wine and all of these things that should be part of a normal healthy diet. When I think of what a standard healthy diet equals, it's anything that fits you and serves your lifestyle by making you feel energized and happy. And I don't necessarily think a healthy lifestyle and a healthy diet excludes small indulgences. Oh, I'll just go an extra 20 minutes on the elliptical at the gym tomorrow when ordering dessert at a night out with friends. You may think it's harmless, but it starts to manifest and it starts to repeat itself and gets you in this unhealthy spiral. And so we have to be so cognizant of the thoughts that we think, because they become our words and become our actions. Something that I've found can be helpful with this is replacing the word cheat meal, because we don't want to associate the word cheat with something that is to be enjoyed and should be enjoyed. So instead of the word cheat, maybe swapping it for treat. So a treat meal that you look forward to. 1 piece of chocolate cake, 2 pieces of pizza, a beer is not going to ruin your progress. I can promise you that. And by working it up in your head, by spiraling out of control mentally, telling yourself it's going to ruin your progress thus far, you're going to develop this unhealthy pedestal that you put this food on. You're going to be more tempted to eat 3 times the amount of the food that you would if you had a healthy balance of enjoying the food. When you put it in the box of restriction, like I really shouldn't be eating this, I know I shouldn't be eating this, I know this is bad for me, your body is going to give into that, and your mind is like, just do it, you know, it's that whole like devil angel thing. And so you overeat, you overindulge, you feel like crap after, and then you feel guilty the next day, and that's a negative loop. So my goal with this is to help you to be able to kind of flow between healthy food and indulgences, and accept that they're both part of a healthy diet, and that you should enjoy them, and you deserve it because you're a human and you're not a supermodel, you're not a crazy athlete that lives a diet where they can't indulge once in a while. You're a normal average person. And so if that's what's going to get you through the work week, by all means, please have yourself that piece of chocolate lava cake. The second thing you should not feel guilty for is not being productive. And honestly, I'm preaching to the choir on this one, because this is the topic I have the most difficulty with still in accepting. My personality type, I make everyone that I'm close to take this crazy personality quiz called the Enneagram, and it's pretty widely known. If you haven't yet taken it, I suggest you do, because it reveals quite a bit about your personality, your communication, how you best handle stress, what you need the most of. I firmly believe in it. And based on my personality type, my self-worth is attached to productivity, creating things, building things, contributing towards better health. Like anything in terms of goal setting and working towards, that's where my self-worth comes from. So when I'm not doing that, when I'm lying on the couch resting as I should be, because I do work a lot, I feel guilty. One of the ways that I'm teaching myself to rest is that I get better work done when I do take the necessary time and energy to do nothing. And for me, that looks like reading a book, sometimes watching TV, but usually it's reading a book, or taking a nap, or things that I wouldn't normally do on my day-to-day. Just even the simple fact of laying down during the day is something I don't do. I've just never been someone to do that. So on weekends, when I dedicate that time to rest, laying down for me is a big deal, and I've learned to accept the uncomfortableness of doing that, which I know sounds crazy because most of us are like, I love to lie down, why wouldn't you? The next thing you should not feel guilty for is being exceptional at something, whether it's a skill or a talent or a passion. Girl, own it. You deserve to. You've worked hard to get here, and some people are just naturally born with better skills than others, and so often we make ourselves small and don't step into that because we don't want to offend people, especially people around us who aren't stepping into their potential or who are living small or who are jealous of you. Oftentimes at work, we do this because good hard work is often rewarded with more work and more responsibility passed off from someone else who isn't stepping into their potential. An example of this for me is that I know that I'm a good public speaker, and I know that's something that I've worked hard on. I started taking acting classes and public speaking classes when I was 5 years old, and so for the longest time, my friends in school, I remember in grade school, they would be like, I hate presentations, I hate speeches, and I was there prepared with a PowerPoint, with props, memorized, no note cards, and I loved it. And I always felt like, how weird that I love to do this and other people don't, so I'm gonna pretend that I hate it as equally as much. I just thought, you know what? Why am I gonna make myself smaller for someone else when I know this is what I was put on this earth to do? And when you do step into that, you can serve people in a way that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to, doing something in less of your potential. Most speaking gigs that I've done thus far have been for free. And that's something that most public speakers will not do because they know their worth. And trust me, doesn't mean I know my worth any less, but stepping into a place that's less than what you think you're worth in order to get to a place where you know you should be is a humbling thing, and there are so many people out there who don't do that. So, long story short, make sure that you do own the skills that you have, and don't be afraid to be proud of yourself. It's a bold thing to have courage and confidence in yourself amongst a society who capitalizes on insecurity. You shouldn't feel guilty ever for setting boundaries. And setting boundaries can look like a couple different things. Number one, it can look like deciding that you need time and energy to yourself instead of booking your calendar rock solid. Just because you have an open block on your day for 10 minutes or 2 hours, you don't have to fill it. And if you're like me, your energy is refilled by spending time at home alone. I don't want the people that I love to feel like I love them less because I'm saying no. A lot of people take it personally, and so one thing that I'm working on is knowing in my heart that my intention is good and hoping the people around me that I'm close to also know that, so that I don't have to go through that feeling of guilt when saying no. People who don't have boundaries don't expect you to have them, and so they will push and push and push. And if you keep being a pushover and saying yes, 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 they will expect that from you. And so you have to nip it in the bud as soon as you notice that it's getting out of control. And if they really love you and they seem to have a problem with it, they'll bring it to your attention. And so you have to trust that the people around you that you love, that you have to set a boundary for, aren't taking it personally. And if someone is, that's their responsibility to bring it to you and have an honest conversation where you can say, look, I love you, but my job requires a lot of me. Like all of my jobs, I can't even put them into a description, but if I were to sum them all up, they're all heavily communication based. And so when I come home from a long day, I don't want to talk to anyone. I will leave 5 text messages in my text box and not respond to them until the next day if it means I can't come up with the energy that person deserves from me. Also, I think it's something that I never realize until it's gotten to a point where it feels unbearable. I can take so much, and then when it gets to be too much, I tend to just shut down. And so I'm really working on this balance of saying no before it gets to be overwhelming. Okay, the last thing that I don't want you to feel guilty for is taking a break. Taking a break from the gym, from broccoli, from going out with friends and drinking beer every weekend, from working 12 to 14 hour work days every day because you feel the need to. Everything that is in our current landscape of life, our environment, our schedule, our mental headspace, what's in our refrigerator, what's in our bank account, that is a personal choice. And when you can recognize that you are directly responsible for creating your own happiness and your own contentment and peace of mind, that's when you start to make real change in your life. And if that means taking a break from something toxic, something that isn't serving you in the moment, even if it's a positive or healthy habit, by all means, do what's best for you. I know for myself, sometimes I need to take a break from eating healthy. I love to do it and I feel so good doing it, but if I don't take like one day out of the week to just eat what the heck I want, I will go crazy. And that doesn't mean I'm eating garbage all day long, but I have certain meals that I eat different days of the week. And so when it comes to Saturday, if I'm strict on myself and hard on myself, I have the type of personality where I will spiral out of control and become obsessed with being perfect. And that feels like a dangerous spiral to even put myself in the pathway of. So taking a break from the normal everyday routine helps me to A, feel motivated to get back into the routine because I thrive on routines and I find freedom and stability from routines. And B, it gives me a chance to just relax and be, because I know that every moment of every day is not supposed to be spent on work. And if I let it, that's how my life will go. And maybe for you, it's dealing with something in your life that feels like it's too heavy or it's too much. And so I encourage you to take a break. And maybe it isn't from your health. I don't know, maybe it's from doing a favor for a friend or going somewhere that feels like it's toxic energy for you. And so taking a break from something that was at one time a really good thing and now feels like it's taking over your life and your energy and your schedule, I think you should go for it. And maybe that's all the encouragement that you need for today, but I think it's a bold thing to decide for yourself that what you're currently handling and dealing with right now isn't serving you in the greater good. And so the choice that you make to take a break is going to better propel you in the direction to improve all of those aspects, from your health to your career, to your personal life, to the relationships you have, like all the things. I guess the purpose of this video is just to be bold enough to not feel guilty about the things that society keeps telling us we should feel guilty about. At the end of the day, I want you to remember that society doesn't rule your life. What you see on social media, most of that isn't real. Most of that is business and branding. And I know you see people who are making it big and making a lot of money and super ripped and all that, but there's lights and cameras and assistants and it's curated. It's not real. It's not organic. So I encourage you to spend less time on social media if this feels overwhelming to you, and take a step back to figure out what actually is going on in your head and deal with the problem so that you don't have the feeling of guilt surrounding the things that help you to live an amazing and thriving lifestyle.